Hi.
Yo, what's up? Hold on, let me pause this music. What's up? You like issues? You like issues, right?
Yeah, I did a while ago. It's been a long time since I've listened to them.
Okay. Yeah, I was just jamming them right now, just kind of like dancing in front of the camera. But how's it going?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while, but it's been good. I've been really busy with school and research and now transitioning to working from home. But
Heck yeah.
yeah.
That's tight. Yeah, it's good to hear that like you're being so busy. Like it's just like busy people get stuff done, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard trying to be productive during this time. I find some days I'm really productive, other days I feel like I did nothing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, I feel you. So like what? Okay, because yeah, I've been having this like I don't know, like I'll feel like I need to like do something, like I should be doing something. You know what I mean? Like I need to like get something done or like be productive. But then like how do you do that? Like how do you get that productive feeling? Like is it when like you finish, like when you write the last word of a paper or something, or like is it like at the end of the day?
Yeah, I think it's when I finally finish something, whether it's like writing a paper, writing a proposal, I finally feel like, okay, I did something. It's a really good feeling, but I feel like sometimes we also have to give ourselves credit for like the little things that we do. Um, Even if it's just like reading, at least for me, we have to read a lot of literature. And sometimes if you spend a whole day reading, you feel like you didn't get anything accomplished, but that in itself is something.
Oh, okay. I love reading. That's something that I do feel like, oh, okay, cool. At least like I got this book in my brain kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.
So what kinds of stuff are you researching?
So I do my research on coral reefs.
Wow.
Specifically, yeah, I study fish that eat algae on coral reefs. And fish play a really important role in helping maintain a balance of coral and algae on reef. So that's kind of the premise of my research.
Heck yeah, that's freaking tight. Why, so okay, it makes sense that you're like into mermaids and stuff now. Like
Yeah, I'm like, I'm a real life mermaid too.
heck yeah. That's tight. Wait, so how did you get into that? That's what you're I don't know, wait, talk about that a little more. I want to hear about it.
Yeah, so I realized I wanted to do my research on coral reefs after a research experience as an undergrad at UCLA. There was this program called the Diversity Project, and it brings underrepresented students out to Moorea, French Polynesia, which is an island in the South Pacific.
Yeah.
And we all got certified. We got our scientific diving certification within 2 weeks, which is insane. And then we just did an independent research project. And after that, I just loved it. And I continued to do research for the rest of my undergrad. And then that led me to the lab I'm in now, doing very similar things, asking similar questions. And most of my work is still done in Moorea, French Polynesia, but I'm also trying to coordinate to work in the National Marine Sanctuary of American Samoa.
In America Samoa?
Hmm.
That's tight.
Yeah.
That's just something random that you reminded me of in the that French Polynesia, like that area. They have like islands for rent. Like,
Really?
yeah, like one of my dreams is to like rent an island, like a small island, and just bring like a crew with me to just like make art and music and stuff. But anyways, that's like just a little fantasy I have.
Actually, I have heard about an island. I think it's called Tatiroa, and I think it's kind of famous for like yeah, like celebrities just like going there and just I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
very remote, but that would be really cool if people could just be on an island and
Oh heck yeah.
do their own thing. Yeah.
Straight up. Yeah, I feel like it'd just be super inspiring. I mean, like you're like swimming around in the ocean and stuff and like in all those tropical spots. I'm sure you know like what does that do to you? Does that kind of like give you a different feeling?
It does. I mean, when you're underwater diving, you are totally in a different world, and every day you see something different. And, sometimes it's scary because You know, as humans, we're not meant to be underwater under all that pressure for long periods of time. So it just gives you a very different perspective, and it's amazing. Like every single dive I have is different, and it's just amazing.
Yeah. What do you mean different?
So even if we are diving in the same location, you just see something new, or some days you may see sharks, or sometimes the dives aren't so great. You know, there's currents and there's just things you can't control. Sometimes you get a surprise visit from a turtle.
Yeah, love
So
those turtle
it's,
surprise visits.
yeah. So it's very exciting.
Straight up, it sounds exciting.
Hmm.
It's like I don't know. Wait, it reminds me of that scene from like Finding Nemo when like they're like swimming and there's just like that all the turtles in that what is it like that stream?
Yeah.
That's a like okay. So I used to be like afraid of the ocean, especially like just kind of like how cold it is over here, like in
Hmm.
this part of California. And then we went to Costa Rica, and like the water is so different. It's like I remember like it was just like so warm. It was already like hot like during the summertime, but it felt like the temperature of the water was like the temperature of the air.
Hmm.
And it was like such a like a beautiful like sensation, like feeling like I don't know. It's just a trip like walking into that warm water.
It is. Yeah. Like in French Polynesia, the water is like 80 degrees. And I was like that too. I was always like afraid of the ocean. That's why it's crazy that like I'm even like diving now.
Heck yeah. Good job facing your fears, Nuri.
Yeah. I will say that diving here in California is a bit scarier and harder than
Oh
in
yeah.
the tropics, but
Yeah,
so
why
fun.
why is that?
Well, first of all, just like equipment wise, you have to put on so much more weight. That way you're not super buoyant because of your wetsuit.
Hmm.
And then the visibility here in California, sometimes you can't see like 3 feet in front of you. It can be quite surgy. Well, in the tropics, like you barely have to wear weights. You can see like so far in front of you, so it's much easier. So if you ever
Wow.
do go diving, I would say like get certified in the tropics.
Okay. That's that pro tip right there.
Yeah.
So what's been your like the most interesting dive that you've had?
Most interesting. I would say so. I had a dive in Maria. And as soon as me and my dive buddy were out there, we were just getting these lemon sharks just around us. They were
Lemon
very
sharks.
curious. And I think they were comfortable being around us because I think dive boats take people there and they chum the waters. So they were like, oh, there's a boat. People are going to feed us. So the sharks were getting very close, and my dive buddy was actually my professor, and he was loving this. He had his camera, he was like going up in front of the sharks and filming it. And I was so freaked out. Like, we have the whole ocean, and I'm literally like right next to my dive buddy, like so
Yeah.
scared.
Dang.
So I would say that was an interesting dive.
Heck yeah. There's just like all these sharks around you sounds like pretty freaking like exciting. Like
Yeah, and that was also like my first time seeing a shark. So the fact that there were
oh
so
dang.
many and quite large, I'm like,
So
I don't
the
want to
first
be
time
so.
you saw a shark, you actually saw a bunch of sharks really close to you.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of a scary experience, and it's
Dang.
definitely something I will never forget.
That's next level. I
Yeah.
don't think I mean I've seen like sharks at like the aquarium and stuff. Like I think like I pet a shark one time, but I don't do lemon sharks, are they like do they like bite or anything or
I don't think there's like been a history of lemon sharks attacking people. I mean, we did cut our safety stop short, and a safety stop is when you like as you're ascending up in the water, you have to stop for 5 minutes at 15 feet. We did cut it short because like they were starting to come up in the water column, just very curious. So out of like caution, we cut that short. But there's never been a history, I think, of lemon sharks attacking people. But I think there's definitely probably signs to watch out for if they do get
hmm.
aggressive, but it's not really an issue.
Yeah. Have you ever been attacked by a sea animal?
I haven't been attacked by a sea animal. I will say there is this fish called a damselfish,
Uh-huh.
and although they're like this big, they're very small, but they freak me out. I think they're like scarier than other things. Like they actually look at you in the eye. So they're called like farmer fish because they basically have a farm of algae and they're very territorial. So if you do come too close, they will kind of like nibble at you and like get mad at you and
What the heck?
yeah, so I don't like those little damselfish.
Damselfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
So
like
probably not what you're expecting, but they're
not
pretty
good.
crazy and they're not afraid of you.
They're not afraid of you.
Yeah.
Damselfish. Hold on, I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, I think actually our state fish, the Garibaldi, is a type of damselfish.
What's our state fish?
The Garibaldi, it's like that
Garib.
orange fish.
Wow, I'm learning so much and just like
I know, I'm like just throwing ocean facts everywhere.
heck yeah, just radiating ocean facts. Wait, so like you mentioned like how like going into the ocean is like another world. So like why do you think that's so appealing to us as humans to like peer into like something so alien to us?
Well, I think one thing it kind of makes you realize like, okay, we're not the center of the world. Like there's this whole other world that, we basically don't belong in. And
Whoa,
I kind
okay.
of feel like it just like humbles you. Um, and the fact that some of these creatures have been around for like millions of years and it yeah, it really creates like a different perspective that like we're just not the center of the world.
Do you dream about the ocean?
I do. Yeah, some of them are good dreams, some of them are like nightmares, like waves crashing.
Oh dang. What something interesting is like I don't know like how into dreams you are, but there are certain like dream symbols that like signify certain things that are like common between like everybody.
Mhm.
And the like the water like symbolizes kind of like diving into like the unconscious part of ourselves, or like the parts of ourselves that normally we don't have access to in like our waking life. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty like I don't know, it's kind of eye opening. Like if you have a dream where like you see a pond, then the pond actually like symbolizes that part of you that you don't normally have access to. And then if you go into the pond, it's like okay, now like you're like expanding yourself in that way. You're like you're bringing consciousness to new territory.
Oh,
So
that's really interesting. Yeah, I definitely do dream about being in the water a lot, so I've never thought of it in that way.
yeah, and then it makes sense too because you say like it's like going into another world, and I mean you're actually like going into that spot where like you don't belong.
Yeah, and you're
Like
you're vulnerable there. Like anything can happen.
oh dang, yeah, that's another part too. Has have there been any like scary things underwater or like besides the little damselfishes?
And no, nothing too scary. I think probably the most, I guess, scary thing would just be like, I think diving in California, just getting out past the waves is like kind of scary. But,
Yeah.
after going through like really intense training, you're kind of taught and you're like simulated in different situations, like how will you respond to things. So it makes you be able to like act better.
Oh, you guys do simulations, or that's part of the training?
Yeah, so I remember as part of my training, our dive instructor, he was like disconnecting our air tank. And so
Whoa.
like if it happens to your dive buddy, you're supposed to put that back together. Or he would turn off your air and he'd be like, oh shoot, I need to turn that back on. So,
Yeah.
and they also like make you practice taking your mask completely off, your reg, which you're breathing from, they make you like take that off. So they like prepare you for all that stuff. So that's probably scary, I guess.
That sounds cool though. Like you're going through all those different scenarios and actually like feeling what it could be like, and you're really actually putting yourself in that situation.
Yeah,
That's,
totally.
so, but how did you like get into like the ocean? Have you always kind of like been like fascinated with like what is it like Ariel, like the Princess Mermaids, or what?
Yes. um, Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I've always loved mermaids. I've definitely like always called myself Ariel. Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah. um, I definitely like just in general always love like nature and the environment. And I remember in my environmental science class in high school, we actually went out to the Channel Islands National Park.
Mm,
And first of all, I didn't even know we had islands off the coast of here,
mm.
which is crazy. But that was just really eye opening. And so, yeah, then I studied that in college, and then I was like went into specializing more in marine things after that one program I talked about where I went to Maria, and then I went to Australia to study abroad.
You went to Australia?
Yeah,
What
actually,
the
I did
heck?
a marine biology quarter there. I
Whoa.
finally got to do my dream of diving in the Great Barrier Reef.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dang, you guys, dreams come true.
they
Like,
do.
just follow the mermaids. Follow the mermaids in your, I don't know. But that's tight. What was that like going to Australia and doing all that? Because you can like see the coral reef from like the moon.
Mhm. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, I can't even like begin to describe how amazing it was. Just like the corals and just all the wildlife, and there were so many turtles. Actually, when we were there, it was like the turtle nesting season.
Mhm.
So in the middle of the night you would see just like these huge turtles come up onto the beach, and they would spend the whole entire night digging this hole where they would drop their eggs. And then around like 4 o'clock in the morning or 5, when they were finally done doing that, they would go back to the ocean. So that was an insane experience.
Yeah. So you guys were like observing them do all this, or like is it just well?
Yeah, I mean, that's not like why we were there. We were doing our
Uh,
own different research projects, but we were on this island that's like 3 hours off the coast. And yeah, like we would just wake up at 4 in the morning to watch the turtles go back to the ocean. It was pretty insane.
that sounds freaking peaceful. Like,
Yeah.
wow, the pictures that are being painted in my head right now. So wait, I heard that like there's like a really strict I don't know like laws around like the coral reef. Like you can only wear like certain kinds of like sunscreens or like
Mm.
what's up with that?
Yeah. So the issue is really with like the chemical sunscreens. So if you look at your sunscreens, you'll often see things that say like oxybenzone, and there's been studies that those can have like really negative effects on corals. So at least for right now, the recommendation is to try and wear mineral sunscreens, which is like zinc oxide, titanium dioxide. I think there's still studies to be done to see if like, okay, does mineral sunscreen do anything to corals? But at least for right now, we know chemical sunscreens are really bad. So I think in Hawaii they might have actually already banned chemical sunscreens, or at least they've banned like oxybenzone. But I bet if you just like look at the ingredients on your sunscreen, you will totally see oxybenzone on it if it's chemical.
Whoa, that's good to know. Yeah, we gotta take care of all the corals.
Yeah, totally.
Where else have you traveled to? So wait, so far we've talked about the French Polynesian Islands and then
Hmm.
Australia and then Channel Islands, which blew
Yep.
your mind. And then what else?
Let's see, where else have I been? Just in general or for
Yeah.
research? In
Both,
general.
yeah.
Um, well, just in general, my family, we travel to El Salvador a lot
Heck
because
yeah. Oh
that's where
yeah,
my
you're
family's from.
Salvadoreño.
Yeah.
Salvadoreña.
Yeah. So we go there a lot. Where else have I
That's cool. Wait,
been?
what's it like over there?
El Salvador's pretty amazing. It's just like this beautiful natural place where there's just like tons of trees and waterfalls and hot springs, and you can
Wow.
like always see a volcano from far away. It's pretty amazing.
Waterfalls and volcanoes.
Yeah.
That's tight. Yeah, my family is Guatemalan. I,
Mm.
I want to go just to like that part of the country and just like just check it all out. It's kind of, I think it's like a similar climate I don't know like how tropical it is compared to El Salvador.
Yeah, I definitely think it's worthwhile to go out. It's so different. Like it just feels like you're going into a different world.
Hmm.
It's you just can't compare it to being here.
Do you do you feel like traveling like grows us?
I think it does because I feel like at least in America, I feel like we think we're like the center of the world, and so when you
Hmm.
travel to other places, you're like, wow, like people have their own culture, their own beliefs, and all these new things there are for us to learn. So I definitely do think it does grow us.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, it's like seeing the way that other people live, even just like observing the different kinds of nature. I feel like it opens up different like perceptions in our minds and like in our awareness. Like just like I went to Japan a few months ago, and it was so interesting how the way that like nature and like society is kind of like harmonized in like certain areas. So like we would be like walking like just like in the city, and then there'd be like a beautiful shrine right there where it's like a bunch of like vegetation and just like a bunch of like beautiful plants, and then just like the landscape, like the man-made stuff just had like a nature vibe to it. And it's like I don't know, like I feel like I took some of that and like brought it back with me. And I don't know, like if you like have that same kind of thing where like you kind of bring a little bit back with like it's I don't know, like the places you travel kind of become a party.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I do get that feeling from other places where there's more like a connection with nature. So I definitely feel like I do bring that back with me for sure.
Awesome. What so wait, what kind of music are you into now?
Um, I feel I still have like my main, like bands that I will always love. System of a Down and
Heck yeah. The main bands.
yeah, I had bought tickets to go see them on May 22nd,
Oh
but
no.
obviously that's not going to happen this year. So hopefully they reschedule that. But
Dang.
yeah, System of a Down will always be one of my favorites, and Slipknot, and
Yeah.
yeah, and then Linkin Park will just always have my heart.
Heck yeah. Oh, didn't you met the members, right? Or
I did, yeah. So there was a year in high school where I think I saw Linkin Park like 6 times in one year.
heck yeah. Wow. That's a lot. That's good. What did
Yeah,
you
it's probably
show?
too much.
Nah, it's perfect.
But yeah, one of those times I did a meet and greet, and that was amazing.
What was that like?
It was definitely surreal. And actually, like the members were just so sweet and just like humble, and it was very cool.
That's awesome. Have you seen System before?
I have actually. I saw them at the K Rock Almost Acoustic Christmas a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, it was crazy. It was like Linkin Park performed right before them, and then it was System of a Down was the last band. That was
Oh,
crazy.
so you saw Linkin Park and System that show, the Almost Acoustic Christmas? Or
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, that was crazy.
that's pretty awesome. What
Hmm.
are you like into any other genres though, or just like mostly like the that heavy stuff?
No, I do listen to some other stuff. I recently started liking this music by Chelsea Wolfe. I don't even
Chelsea Wolf.
know what genre that would be,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like it kind of has like sometimes some like metal vibes to it, but it's also very different. But I think she's pretty cool.
Those sometimes metal vibes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know how to describe her, but it's really cool. Is all I can say.
Yo, what do you like so much about like live concerts?
Oh my gosh. I think just like finally, seeing your favorite songs in person, you're just like, oh my gosh, is this real?
Mm.
Um, yeah.
The way that I heard somebody put it is like imagine that feeling in Toy Story when the toys start talking to you. Like
Yes. Yeah, especially when like they start playing those first notes and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I know what this is."
Mm.
It's pretty crazy.
Do you get down in the pit? Like, do you mosh?
Oh my gosh, no. So usually I get no. I usually, I get like the general admission tickets, but like I to be in the pit, but not to like be in the center. And so I get there like bunch of hours early, which I feel really bad for my friends. But I will get there like 7 hours early. That way I can be like right in the front, because like
Heck yeah.
yeah, or else I feel like I would just die
Oh
if
no.
I was in the middle of the pit. I don't think I could do it.
Okay, okay. So you're like right up on stage, like okay,
Yes, yeah.
like barely. That's tight. I
Yeah,
do
the
get
only
yeah.
bad thing is like the crowd surfers, like I can't handle them. So that's the bad part about being in the front.
You can't catch them or what?
Yeah, like when they're like crowd surfing and obviously they get off, like where like the fence or the barricade is, but like that's where I am. So I'm just getting like kicked in the head and
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah, you
that's the
gotta
only bad thing about
protect
being in the
yourself.
front.
Have you ever crowd surfed or stage dive? Stage
No.
dive?
I feel like crowd surfing is a dream one day, but we'll see.
All right. So when we cure COVID, I'll help you. We'll get this done. We'll achieve this dream, just like how you got to the coral reef. We'll get. You know what I mean? Well.
Yes, I would love to achieve that.
Oh man, yeah. I love. So something else about Japan and concerts. We went to like a hardcore show, like a punk show kind of thing, and it was so interesting. And like we were kind of like the ones like the rowdy ones, the rowdy Americans, and all of a sudden like the energy like started to pick up, and then like one of the main bands went on, and then just like the place went crazy, and then like somebody like this little Asian dude kind of like got on stage and then just like sprinted off and like dove into the it was so like it felt so good, like I felt so welcome, like I'm with my people right now kind of thing in this foreign land.
Wow, that's super cool.
is there is there any band that you want to see or that you haven't seen yet?
I mean, I feel like I've kind of like achieved like my top bands I wanted to see. And I've seen System of a Down. I've seen, Linkin Park. I've seen Slipknot, which is amazing live.
Cool.
I also have to admit I love Evanescence, so that was my dream, and I finally got to see them a couple years ago.
Heck yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
I know it's nostalgic.
Yeah, there's something different about them. It's like really like I don't know, it's like dark, but it's like really like pretty music. And it's like an interesting blend.
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
I think I don't know, I don't really have any like bands that I'm like that I need to see that I really want to see. I think like oh, you know what? I met the what's his name? The dude from the Issues. He's not in the band anymore, the screamer.
Oh, yeah.
Matt? Like his Instagram is like T-Rets.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it was we were actually playing a show in Hollywood, and I think like my friends and I were like walking to go like get some food up the street, and I just see him kind of like he's standing there on his phone like on the sidewalk, and I'm like, you're like the dude. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, yeah, I'm just like leaving the studio. He was at like a karate studio, I think.
Oh, interesting. That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah, I got a picture with him. It felt like reassurance that I was like where I was supposed to be. Like I was
Yeah.
playing a concert that night, and it's like okay, like I got this like this blessing from this other like great musician that I really admire.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Yeah, I was kind of bummed when I saw that he left and like I didn't read into why and I haven't like heard their music since without him,
Mm.
but I always thought he was cool.
Yeah, straight up. I like yeah, I haven't listened to the most recent stuff. Like I think they
Hmm.
just came out with an album a couple months ago. But I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, I like Issues because they're I don't know, they're like poppy and like groovy, but still they have that sometimes metal vibe.
A very technical term.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tight. Is there are you into reading?
Just like reading
Yeah,
books.
yeah,
Yeah.
like for like outside of research and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I do love reading. Yeah, I'm actually in the middle of reading this trilogy. I think the
Wow.
trilogy is called come on, The Inheritance, or I don't know. I can't
Okay.
remember what it was called, but it's amazing. I'm on the third book or about to start the third book. But yeah, I love
That's
reading.
yeah. What the inherit is that like nonfiction? I mean, that's the fiction book, right?
It's fiction, yeah. It's more
Yeah,
like fantasy type of thing, but it's
cool.
very cool.
What's cool about that one? The trilogy.
Um, I feel like it's cool because even though it's fantasy, I feel like it's like mirroring, things that are kind of happening in current events.
Oh.
Where, there's like different groups of people, and then there's like one group that has like these special powers, but like the other groups like basically just like treat them like animals and property. And so even though it's like obviously all this like fake things, I feel like the issues are kind of hitting on like real things.
Okay, so there's like that blend of like fantasy, but also like the current events, like stuff that we need to be like paying attention to.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't really listen. I mean, I don't really read like fiction that much anymore. But I will say that like some of the most like profound thoughts or like ideas have been like delivered in like fictional stories. It's like have you read The Alchemist?
I haven't yet.
That's a freaking tight book. You should check that out. It's just beautiful how so many like messages are weaved into this like story, and it's not like I don't know, it just like it's cool the way that it's like inspires you through like the narrative. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's I definitely recommend it. Also
Yeah, I'll
there's
have to
a
check it out.
yeah, there's also going to be a link for that in the bottom of the video if anybody's interested. So anyways, um is there anything that like you want to talk about in particular? Are you just cool with vibing back and forth like this?
Yeah, this is I don't know. Is there anything you feel like after, quarantine is over that it's like going to be like the first thing you do?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? The one of the first things that I want to do is just go like hug my family. Like I miss like my abuelos and just like hugging all like my cousins and like my aunts and uncles, and that's definitely one of the things. And also the other thing that I'm probably gonna do is like go take a long walk to like I don't know where, just like wherever, and not be afraid of like catching anything.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, at least it's nice that I've been staying at home, so I'm with my family. So that's been the nice thing. If I wasn't, then this would be like awful. But um, I don't know. Like I just miss like going out to restaurants on the weekends. Like that's what me and my family like to do,
Mm,
and just little things like that like don't seem like anything big, but like that was just like always like one of our favorite things to do.
yeah,
And like usually, I like to stay home anyways, but even now I'm like, okay, I'm ready
right.
to get out.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm like more of a homebody as well. It's
Mhm.
just like, but yeah, that's cool. Going out to going out to restaurants, it's it's like a like entertainment, but also like bonding.
Yeah, because it's like a chance where, okay, like even though we all have like crazy weeks, like my family, we can just finally be together in one place and just like catch each other up on everything.
Yeah, yeah, that feels great. And it's especially like I don't know about you, but like when just like everybody comes through, kind of like all of us like meet up at the whatever it is, like the Cheesecake Factory. Or those are some like cherished memories that I
Yeah,
have.
totally. Yeah, we are still trying to like do things at the house since we can't leave. Like today, we're actually having a birthday party for our dogs. They just turned
Wow.
2 years old.
Happy birthday, both of them. Wait, how many dogs do you have?
We have three,
Yeah.
but only two of them, they're brother and sister, and they're
Oh,
rescues. And so they turned two on April 1st. So they're getting
wow.
their birthday today.
Heck yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Today's my brother's birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday to your dogs. Like
Yeah, they get better birthday parties than I do.
good. I wonder how why what are you guys gonna do? Like what do you mean?
So we make them this like puppy cake, and so they
You guys make
love
them
the
a puppy
cake.
cake?
Yeah, well, it comes with like the ingredients that like dogs can eat, and they love it so much. They had it last year. There's also puppy ice cream, and then like we give them toys, and they love getting new toys. Like whenever an Amazon box comes in, they think it's for them, and most of the time it is. Like we are getting them new toys. But yeah, they love it. They're very spoiled.
What are your dogs' names?
Napoleon and Adore. That's the brother and sister. And then my sister, she has a French bulldog. Her name is Bambi.
Bambi, Napoleon, and Adore?
Yeah.
Why'd you name your dog Napoleon?
Actually, that was already his name from the rescue. And
Oh.
then his sister, Adore, her name was Nury. And I'm like,
Uh.
she can't basically have my name. That'd be way too confusing. It's like off by like a letter. So
Yeah, that'd be kind of
we had to
funny.
change her name.
You ever see those people that look like their dogs or their dogs look like their owners?
Yes, it's crazy. I do feel like with our dogs, like whenever like we're sick, they almost get like the same sickness.
Oh. Yeah, there's like
Which,
a yeah.
yeah, it's weird. It's probably just a coincidence, but it's like scary how many times it's happened.
No, I don't believe in coincidences. Like,
Nah.
nah. I definitely just the especially like what you're around a lot, like you guys become like synchronized in a certain way. And so yeah, it makes sense that like we start to like see something in ourselves like in the things around us because it's like I don't know, it's like syncing up, like getting in tune with each other.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel like our dogs can definitely tell like when we're sad and when we're happy and all that. So it's not surprising.
Yeah, how do you think they do that? Like,
I don't know if it's just like because even sometimes like obviously they can tell a different tone in your voice, but sometimes you're just like not even talking, if you're just like down, but they're just like sitting there with you. I don't know how they know.
I think they have access to information that like we don't, or I don't know, maybe like their senses are like something about their senses is like different. I mean, obviously because they're dogs, but like, do
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
you feel like dogs can see ghosts?
um I mean sometimes it's like you're like why are they barking at nothing?
Mm.
Or I feel like people think like dogs can like sense things. So I feel like I mean, who knows? It is kind of weird when they're just like barking at nothing, but maybe they're trying to tell us something.
I got a I got a funny kind of like dark story for you about a dog. So, we had these Pomeranians, and so there's like Baby and Fluffy, they're sisters. So Fluffy died, and we like buried her in the backyard, and then there's like the little like mound of like dirt, and then like of the flower, and one day like some cousins come over, and they're like little, like I think like maybe like 3 years old and like 5 years old, and so they're like running around, and then I'm like, oh, you guys like watch out for that little mound right there because that's where Fluffy's buried. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you remember Fluffy, like the little fluffy dog? And then my littlest cousin, he's like, oh, I want to see. And I got so happy because like just like he was so intrigued by like he wants to see this body, but at the same time like he knew the life. So I don't know, like
Wow.
yeah, beautiful story. Rest in peace, Fluffy.
Aw, poor Fluffy.
Is there wait, so I want to get into this also, like, because you're like into like cheerleading and like you're like an athlete, right? So what I want to get into, like, what kinds of stuff does that do for us as humans, that like we like achieve like these certain like physical feats, or you know what I mean, just doing those kinds of exercises or like running the drills, like, is that, I want to know like how that kind of plays into your life.
Yeah, I mean, I was a cheerleader since I was 4 years old up until my second year in college. So it
Whoa.
was a lot of my life. And, you know, being a competitive cheerleader, it was like super intense practices, which, maybe people might not realize. And so it really gives you like discipline, also definitely like overcoming fears because as a
Mm.
cheerleader you're doing crazy flips, you're getting thrown in the air, doing things your body shouldn't be doing. So like every day you're doing something that's really scary. um so I feel like that's
Yeah.
definitely come into play now, where like I'm still like learning new things that are really scary, but I'm like, okay, like back then in cheerleading I did things that I never thought I could do, like because I was so afraid, but then eventually, I was able to do it. So I feel like that's kind of where like those same skills and lessons are still in my life today, even though like I'm not cheerleading anymore.
Yeah, that's really important, that like every day you're like stepping into fear, and when you do that, apparently it makes you weightless in the air. So like yeah, that's really important. That's a really good insight, like facing your fears. And I think like when we do that, it like we start training ourselves to like step into those situations like in other areas, just like how you're talking about, like it, like one example is I started taking cold showers, and it's not like I am like excited for the cold, well sometimes I am, but like it's like it's uncomfortable, like I'm intentionally going into like an uncomfortable situation, and it's just so like important for us to like do that, because then when an uncomfortable situation happens, it's like, okay, like I have like the mental capacity, like I have the mental toughness and like the spiritual toughness to like get through this. And yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, totally. I feel like even just specifically like in my life right now, just like doing research, like everything is like unknown, and so it's scary. Um, yeah, so I feel like every day I'm like, okay, like this is scary, but I'm just gonna go into it.
So what kinds of like, what are like the cheerleading workouts, or like what kinds of stuff did you guys train?
Um, so it's not like we were like in like a regular gym working out. So like usually, we would start practice with like running for half an hour, and then we would do a lot of I don't know if you know what suicides are.
Mm-mm. Is that like running
So
back and forth, or?
yeah, basically we would like run back and forth. So basically, like the first hour or hour and a half was just like super intense, like working out. Usually we were like not allowed to get water. Like it was insane because they were trying to like build up our endurance. And
Mm.
then just like tumbling, where we're like doing flips, like use your whole entire body, and it takes everything out of you. Like after doing that, I've never done something that is like so hard on my body before than what cheerleading was.
Whoa. Yeah, that sounds like just like really intense. Like I can't imagine. I mean, I've never cheerled before, so like yeah, that's cool. I mean, I ran track in high school, and I did like wrestling and like a little bit of football. And it's cool how just like these different like physical activities, um like they build your body in different ways. So I don't know, just like random Omar thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
You want to start wrapping this up?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Is there anything that you want to let the people know? Maybe like a positive message or a cool another ocean fact about mermaids.
Hmm. I mean, I guess just like a cheesy positive message, which is kind of going back to before, but I feel like there's been a lot of moments in my life where I was so afraid I didn't think I could do, that one thing. Um, and then eventually you're able to achieve it. And often when you go to the next scary thing, you just think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But just looking back and seeing like everything you've done before, like you can do this. So that's my cheesy message for everyone.
Extra cheesy.
Hmm.
All right. Thanks, Neri. I really appreciate you talking.
Yeah,
And
thanks for having me.
heck yeah. See you around. Love and power.
Yeah, see you.